Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program for an important news bulletin. Scientists have confirmed that the rotation of the Earth has been fluctuating in speed for the last several hours. We have received reports of rain in desert regions, temperatures dropping at the equator, and large farm animals floating away from their herds. The epicenter of these disturbances is located just outside of Old Country Lane. This seems to be the focus of the most bizarre occurrences. So stay away from there. We now return to our regular programming.
My name is Osgood Sr. I am Chief Engineer WorldWorks, although how much longer I will occupy that capacity remains to be seen. I am making this recording as a permanent record of the horrible events that have occurred during my tenure as Chief Engineer. This cataclysm occurred during a great tune-up. This most important of procedures is nothing less than the apotheosis of a Chief Engineer's life. It was for this reason that I insisted that my son Ozzy join me for the tune-up's final stage. Well, he resisted. He thought himself not ready, and I must admit perhaps he always had a measure of ambivalence about following his father into the profession of WorldWorks engineer. But I was proud of him and wanted to encourage him, so I insisted that he participate. Damn my stubbornness! Ozzy pressed the wrong button. Pangea, the single great mass of all the land on Earth, suddenly shattered, breaking into a series of shifting, drifting continents. Then my son panicked. Seeking to undo what he had done, he threw the planetary air vents into reverse. The vents, now operating at intake instead of exhaust, drew into themselves species from across the planet's surface. Nearly all life was sucked into the vents and funneled down into the Earth's core. In guilt, in panic, in shame, Ozzy ran off, following the victims of his mishap into the core. Once on the other side of the border, he sealed the door and sabotaged the border codes so that no one could follow him. For all I know, he's down there still. I have harbored some hope that he would emerge. I would forgive him if I saw him again, but that hope has faded almost to nothing. As for the creatures swept from the planet's surface, their species will never more be able to follow the course of evolution which nature had intended for them. And no, I cannot bear the thought. Since the accident, I have automated the controls. My hope is that this will eliminate the chance of human error in the future. The staff has begun to disperse. Only a handful will remain to monitor the routine operation of the magnificent WorldWorks machinery. With their good work, and with luck, another tune-up will never be necessary. If it should prove to be so, and if you are about to initiate one, I beg you, learn from my mistake. It is a procedure to be performed with only the gravest caution and respect. For this is the final lesson of my and my son's tragic experience. As WorldWorks engineers, we are not only custodians of the mechanism of the planet, we are guardians of the living creatures upon it.
Who are you two?
Oh, of course. Where are my manners? I'm Julius, and this is Bud. We are the engineers that run the machine that runs the world.
Yeah, and if you want to watch, you gotta be quiet, because we're busy. Big time.
Bud is from Brooklyn.
Agreed tune-up? What's that?
What one might call a necessary maintenance procedure. Occasionally, the world machine needs to be realigned, although it's been a little while since the last tune-up.
Yeah, 65 million years, that's your little while.
Yes, well, actually there was a little problem with the last tune-up.
Huh?
Anyway, what we do is this. We take the whole world offline, piece by piece, and make whatever adjustments and repairs are necessary.